लॉर्ड माउंटबैटन कहते हैं उनसे, वन फाइन डे दिस मैन विल बी द प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया। इंग्लैंड का एक पेपर है गार्जियन, गिव्स अ कमेंट दैट फाइनली इंडिया हैज गेन्ड फ्रीडम फ्रॉम ब्रिटिश रूल। टू पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज इन दिस कंट्री who are part of this infamous Progressive Alliance. I will not take the name. He is presently the LOP in the country, the Fabian Society. They had a logo, and the logo was a wolf in sheep's clothing. I will definitely give you goosebumps as we move ahead. It is not all that simple. There is a particular playbook which has been played in the entire subcontinent. At times, no action is a form of a very big action. With President Trump coming, it's mind-boggling the way he is trying to dictate terms to the EU. You should start shifting your capital into India. Start packing. I don't foresee a very bright future for Europe at present. Europe is not the same after these immigration. All regression, you are now being pushed into Stone Age. Tell me one religion which has got the power to say that you can debate on my book. We are the most progressive society in the world. People don't want to work, people want just rights.
Moving toward my list of questions now.
Okay.
The first part, I think we have already discussed it specifically. How have you specifically, when we talk about Western EU, like Germany, France, and UK, historically engaged with India, and also the political and economical part of it, like culturally? Because the reason why I have to think about this question was Europe, there is a Europe thing, but it's divided into two parts, like it's
Hmm.
West Europe and East Europe. And
Exactly.
when we see West Europeans are generally the more flourished one,
Yes. Yes.
rich and or there is some culturally they say it. And the Easterns are looked as like they're bit they're not that uh paisa nahi hai zyada unke paas. So they are limited. So when we talk about mul- multilaterals और जो रिलेशंस बनते हैं दूसरे देशों के साथ तो मैं स्पेसिफिकली इन तीनों देशों के पर्सपेक्टिव से देख रहा हूँ सो दैट्स द क्वेश्चन लाइक हिस्टोरिकली जर्मनी फ्रांस और यूके का इंडिया के साथ क्या रिलेशन था तो इन टर्म्स ऑफ पॉलिटिकली इकोनॉमिकली एंड कल्चरली
इंटरेस्टिंगली अगर आप एक एक कंट्री को ऑब्जर्व करेंगे, जैसे सबसे पहले लेते हैं हम यूके को। यूके, एज वी ऑल नो दैट 1947 में इंडिया जो था आज़ाद होता है और इंडिया को डिवाइड कर दिया था दो पार्ट में। और उसके बाद में देन दे वर ऑब्जर्विंग इंडिया टू बी पार्ट ऑफ द कॉमनवेल्थ। वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग, I don't know whether your audience would be aware of it or not. There was a society by the name of Fabian Society.
हम्म
है ना? Fabian Society was existing and there was something known as the Progressive Alliance. So Fabian Society जो थी उसका कहीं ना कहीं गड़बड़ होके प्रोग्रेसिव अलायंस के साथ में उसका मेल था। फेबियन सोसाइटी की एक थॉट थी कि जितनी भी कंट्रीज के ऊपर इंग्लैंड का राज चल रहा है, वहां पर हर कंट्री में देयर इज सम अनरेस्ट एंड पीपल वांट टू थ्रो द ब्रिटिश आउट ऑफ देयर कंट्री। तो अगर हम एक ऐसा सिचुएशन क्रिएट करते हैं कि हम इन कंट्रीज को ऑन द फेस ऑफ इट आजाद कर देते हैं, इंडिपेंडेंस दे देते हैं, एंड उसमें हम ऐसी गवर्नमेंट्स को प्लांट करते हैं जो कि हमारे लिए लॉयल रहेंगी। सो दीज गवर्नमेंट्स विल लुक आफ्टर द अनरेस्ट इन देयर कंट्री, जो भी प्रॉब्लम होगी, और कोई भी प्रॉब्लम का ठीकरा जो है वो हमारे सर पे नहीं फूटेगा।
सर
ठीक है? सो दिस वाज द थॉट प्रोसेस ऑफ फेबियन सोसाइटी एंड इंसिडेंटली सर क्लेमेंट एटली वाज पार्ट ऑफ द फेबियन सोसाइटी।
सर या
सर क्लेमेंट एटली जो थे वो वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 के बाद में ब्रिटेन के प्राइम मिनिस्टर बने। 1945 में वो नियुक्त करते हैं लॉर्ड माउंटबैटन को एज द वॉइसरॉय। लॉर्ड माउंटबैटन जो थे उनकी दोस्ती थी जवाहरलाल नेहरू के साथ में बहुत पहले से। सिंगापुर का एक इंसिडेंट है व्हेन लॉर्ड माउंटबैटन यूज्ड टू ड्राइव इन अ ओपन कार अलोंग विद एडविना, and Jawaharlal Nehru used to be sitting in that car along with him. So the ADC of Lord Mountbatten, he commented that Jawaharlal Nehru is a freedom fighter because he
यस
is apparently fighting for the freedom of India. And if he is seen moving with you, then it will be detrimental to your interests. It will bring a bad name to you. You know what did Lord Mountbatten say? Lord Mountbatten कहते हैं उनसे कि I am not worried because one fine day this man will be the Prime Minister of India.
Oh, so it was already planned?
I don't know.
I mean, it
I don't know,
looks like, right?
but
Mhm.
history says that Mountbatten told his aide that he will be the Prime Minister of India. Now, when Lord Mountbatten lands at Delhi airport, he is greeted by Liaquat Ali Khan, representing the Muslim League, and Jawaharlal Nehru, representing the Indian National Congress. Both these parties were at loggerheads. They were fighting amongst each other कि हमको इंडिपेंडेंट पाकिस्तान चाहिए, कौन-कौन से स्टेट्स पाकिस्तान का मेंबर बनेंगे. Lord Mountbatten had a lot of homework to do.
Mhm.
But successfully, Indian National Congress became the ruling party of this country. And लियाकत अली खान जो थे वहां चले गए और मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना became the father of the nation of the new formed Pakistan. Now, what happens is, why I bring this story to your platform. Clement Attlee is part of the Fabian Society. Fabian Society says that हमें ऐसे कंट्रीज को आज़ाद करना चाहिए एंड इंडिया इज वन कंट्री विच गेन्स इंडिपेंडेंस. मैं यहाँ पर बात को मान लेता हूँ कि चलो हर चीज इत्तेफाक थी. प्रोबेबली माउंट बैटन वुड हैव सीन दैट इस बंदे में दम है, ये बन सकता है एंड ही हैज द कैपेबिलिटी टू लीड. So let us allow him certain privileges in the jail where he can sit and write books. From there, he can meet his daughter, his family there. He is living like a king. His clothes can go to Paris for ironing.
Mhm.
And one fine day, he became the prime minister of the country. बन गया, चलो अच्छी बात है. शक की सुई तब निकलती है जब इंग्लैंड का एक पेपर है गार्जियन.
Mhm.
18 मई 2014 को गार्जियन में एक आर्टिकल छपता है. एंड दिस आर्टिकल गिव्स अ वेरी स्ट्रेंज कमेंट दैट फाइनली India has gained freedom from British rule.
Mhm.
That
I
caught
had
me.
read it. Yeah.
You have read it?
Yeah.
Now, this article sends shivers down the spine of every Indian. How can a respectable
Mhm.
paper like Guardian write such a line? What is the reason? Then you start looking backwards कि क्या था, and then you try to connect the dots. And then you find कि यार ये बात तो बिल्कुल फिट बैठ रही है. So believe me, अगर गार्जियन ने लिखा है तो सच ही लिखा होगा कि इंडिया
Mhm.
गेन्स इंडिपेंडेंस इन द ईयर 2014, द रियल इंडिपेंडेंस, वेयर हमारा रूल ऑफ लॉ चलता है. अब आप कंट्रीज के उसको देखिएगा किस प्रकार से अपोजिशन होता है इस गवर्नमेंट का, एंड द गवर्नमेंट हाउ इट इज गोइंग स्ट्रांग. मतलब जो डेवलपमेंट कंट्री में पिछले 70 साल में होता है वो 10 साल में होके हो जाता है. तो आखिर ये चीज जो थे वो हमारे फोर फादर्स क्यों नहीं सोच पाए, जो अब जाके सोची जा रही है. हम ये नहीं बोलते कि उन्होंने कुछ काम नहीं किया, काम उन्होंने किया, लेकिन वो काम 70 साल कैसे लग गए उस काम को होने में जो कि 10 साल लगते हैं अभी. दैट इज वन बिग क्वेश्चन विच कम्स टू माई माइंड. और फिर सब चीजें जो होती हैं ना वो मिलके एक तरफ चल पड़ती हैं. You have an opposition which is trying to bring down a person who's trying to pull your country ahead and put it on
Sure.
a center stage. So why does everybody want to pull him down? What is so common about these people who are coming together? So I start digging deep and I find that there are two political parties in this country, and let
Mhm.
me again refer to my notes.
Sure, sir.
There are two political parties in this country who are part of this infamous political alliance of 140 political parties, which is known as a Progressive Alliance.
Mhm.
And the agenda of the Progressive Alliance, let me read it out to you, is redistribution of wealth, gender equality, fight for LGBTQIA rights,
Mhm.
fight against intolerance and racism. Now, if I read this, doesn't it tally with the manifesto of one political party of this country?
Definitely.
So you have one case of akhlaq where they say that this society has become intolerant, Then you say that we want caste-based census.
Mhm.
And one character, Peter Navarro from USA, says that you have got Brahmin profiteering in this country.
Yeah.
What is everybody trying to hint? That we are part of those 140 political parties. And imagine two political parties in India are part of those 140 political parties. And which are these political parties? The two political parties are Indian National Congress and Samajwadi Party. So they have an alliance there. Okay, you can have a political alliance. There is no problem. Read the agenda and then read the manifesto of these political parties. You have a political party where your political leader says that the first right of resources in this country is of the minorities. Where does this
Yes.
idea stem from? Who is dictating these lines? Why do I want caste-based census in this country? Is this my own agenda or the agenda of the Progressive Alliance? Okay, if it is the agenda of the Progressive Alliance has to have a governing body. So the
Yes.
governing body of the Progressive Alliance has got 9 members and it is called as the Presidium.
Okay.
And in the Presidium, we have the photographs of all the 9 members of the Presidium except for one. And
Okay.
ironically, the photograph missing is of an Indian. And the
Mhm.
name of this Indian, I will not take the name. He is presently the LOP in the country. His
Okay.
name is there. His photograph is missing. Maybe they couldn't find the right photograph. But he is part of the 9 people who form part of the Presidium. So what all is happening in this country, you can now try and connect the dots and the dots reach there. Incidentally, Chetam House again comes from the Fabian Society.
Yeah. Chatham House. Yeah.
And they had a logo. And the logo was a wolf in sheep's clothing. I don't know why had they kept it there, but it fits the bill. Later
Yes.
on, they graduated to a tortoise, but the earlier
Mhm.
logo was a telltale sign. They
Yes, sir.
uh, they have a policy as to how this society will infiltrate or get into the system. So they will infiltrate into the political parties. They will infiltrate into your civil service. They will infiltrate into your education systems. They will infiltrate into your media. And they will infiltrate into your church, because this was formed in 1895 where church held prominency. So that is why
Mhm.
the name of the church comes there. This is how the
Okay.
system works.
Mhm.
So I will definitely give you goosebumps as we move ahead that
Yeah.
it is not all that simple. Why so
Definitely.
many protests? Why so many people marching on the road? When you find that there is a particular playbook which has been played in the entire subcontinent. You have people blocking the streets in the name of CAA in Shaheen Bagh. You block
Yes.
the major artery of Delhi, the capital. You go on a rampage when President Trump is visiting India. You provoke a policeman by pointing a gun on his forehead. You provoke him so that he becomes angry and he charges at
Shoot.
you or he opens fire at you.
Mhm.
There's a reason why this provocation is there. But you don't yield to that provocation. So the next year you have farmers' agitation. You have farmers which bring down tractors into the streets of Delhi. They go to the Red Fort, they pull down the tricolor and they plant the Nishan Sahib. Nothing against the Nishan Sahib. It's a sacred flag. But then why do you want to show disrespect to the tricolor? You try
Yeah.
and trample the policemen with the help of your tractors. Every Indian says, why is the government quiet? Why don't they act? The aim was provoke the people. But the Indian government does not get provoked. Time passes, you have agitations in Sri Lanka, you have agitations in Bangladesh, you have agitations in Nepal. The crowd provokes the law enforcing agencies react. And the moment they react, guns are fired, shots are
Yes.
fired, aimed fire, and the aimed fire brings down many people. This becomes an excuse for burning, arson, looting.
Yes.
Burning is carried out as per the handbook of incendiaries of the US Army. Why does the
198
crowd,
ways.
yes, why does the crowd have to refer to those pamphlets? What were they having in mind? 2 days prior to the agitation, you start collecting blood. Why? Were you expecting bloodshed in the agitation? Why do you tell the children to come with umbrellas? Because the umbrellas can become a shield if in case tear gas is fired. There's a particular formation in which you're supposed to stand. You are asked to bring water bottles. You are asked to come in school dresses so that the world sees that there are school children who are agitating.
Yes.
So what do you want to tell the world? बात निकलेगी तो बहुत दूर तक जाएगी.
Yes.
तो ऐसा है कि ये हिंदुस्तानी दिमाग है. ये 2
Mhm.
कदम आगे की सोचता है, आप क्या करना चाहते हो? If you see the killings in all these agitations, they were not mere gunshot wounds.
Oh, no, no. Definitely not, sir.
I have been a
I think,
student of wound ballistics, and the wound can give you the entire story. And those wounds are not mere gunshots from the police or from a normal crowd. When a sniper bullet hits, it creates chaos.
yeah, definitely, sir.
So I think इतना बात काफी है.
Yes.
भारतीय
I'll,
दिमाग है, बहुत आगे की सोचते हैं. तो इसलिए मोदी जी ने जो काम किया था, आई ऑलवेज गिव अ कमेंट दैट
Mhm.
at times no action is a form of a very big action.
Definitely, sir.
Non-action is a form of a very big action. So if in case he has not acted, he has acted very well.
Yes. उस समय समझ नहीं आ रहा था
नहीं
बिकॉज़
आता.
हम भी गुस्सा हो रहे थे. But now we understand the logic and thinking that Modi ji had done at that time.
Yes, yes.
Sir, moving to the next question, what lesson can we take from colonial history, post independence, and at and the past trade partnership that we had with Europe?
The biggest lesson that we can take from the colonial history is किले के दरवाजे हमेशा अंदर से खुलते हैं. Until unless you have that 0.5 issue, 2 issue is nothing. When I say
0.5 या 1 हो गया है सर अभी?
हम ऐसा है उसको 0.5 मान के चलेंगे क्योंकि हमारे लिए वो 0.5 ही रहेगा वो.
हुँ,
चाहे वो अपने आप को 1 बोले चाहे 2 बोले, पर
हुँ,
हम उसको 0.5 के सिरे से ही रखेंगे उसको और धीरे-धीरे उसको 0.25 पर ले आएँगे अभी.
ओके,
The way things are
श्योर सर.
moving, yes, it will come down to 0.25 very soon. So uh, जैसे वो एक नारा लगा था ना, एक है तो सेफ है. तो अगर हम एक रहेंगे तो सेफ रहेंगे. और जहाँ हमने अपने सेल्फिश इंटरेस्ट की बात शुरू की, जैसे कि पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज कर रही हैं, आई एम वेरी हैप्पी कि जो काम इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ने किया है, वेरी गुड स्टेप. देयर इज अ रिक्वायरमेंट टू फाइंड कि वो है ना, साधु ऐसा चाहिए जैसा सूप सुभाए, सार सार को गही रहे, थोथा दही उड़ाए. तो इस देश में से जो थोथा है उसको उड़ाने की आवश्यकता है, सो दैट द ग्रेन्स दे कम एंड द क्लीन ग्रेन्स आर देयर इन द कंट्री. एंड जो भूसा वूसा है जो उसको रिजेक्ट कर दिया जाए यहाँ से. सो जो इस देश का नहीं वो मेरे किसी काम का नहीं. दिस इज वॉट आई बिलीव इन. क्योंकि अगर आप मेरे देश के नहीं हैं तो आप मेरे किसी काम के भी नहीं हैं. So you have
एब्सोल्युटली
got
सर.
no right to stay in my country or exercise my right of franchise. वोट डालने का अधिकार मुझे है, आपको नहीं है. अगर आपको यहाँ पर मैंने रखा है मेहमान की तरह, तो मेहमान की तरह रहिए. और मेहमान जो होता है घर में टिक के नहीं रहता है, वापस अपने घर को जाता है. सो बी रेडी टू पैक योर बैग्स एंड गो बैक होम. So this is one thing that we have to learn from the colonial past. The second thing that we have to learn from, which you said, was European Union. Yes.
Yeah, the second was post independence relations and past trade partnership that we had with Europe.
Okay. सो पास्ट ट्रेड पार्टनरशिप हमारे पास में यूरोप के साथ में जो था, वी वर एट द रिसीविंग एंड. लेट मी गिव अ स्मॉल एग्जांपल. इंडिया हैज बीन अ आर्म्स इंपोर्टर. So 80% of our arms were imported. And the arms were imported basically from the Russian bloc, from the Warsaw Pact countries. Then
Yes.
we diversified into a European country, and very proudly I say that European country is France. So we
Yes, sir.
got our Mirages from France, we got our Jaguars from the European Union, we got our Rafales from France, and all quality equipment that we got. We got our 155 Bofors guns from Sweden, excellent guns. हाँ, ये बात अलग है कि यूरोपियन यूनियन जो था वो फॉल्टर किया हमें एमनिशन सप्लाई करने के लिए कारगिल के टाइम पे.
Sir,
हाँ, so South Africa and Israel came to our rescue. So we
I
got
think even Germany at that time helped Pakistan
हाँ,
with some tankers, if I
yes,
remember it
yes,
correctly.
yes, yes.
Sir,
पर अच्छी बात ये थी कि फ्रांस रॉक सॉलिड इंडिया के साथ में खड़ा रहा है. Even in 1998 when the countries were levying sanctions on India, France जो था, it didn't act so harshly, and France has been supporting the Indian cause when it comes to nuclear deals. So in France we could find a good ally. अब तो फ्रांस की इस समय हालत थोड़ी सी खराब चल रही है,
mm-hmm.
तो देखते हैं अभी क्या होता है. we'll keep observing what happens. यूके जो है it is on a downslide. ऋषि सुनक के टाइम पे वी थॉट दैट थिंग्स विल मूव अहेड फॉर फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट के साइनिंग की बात चल रही थी, बट विद केयर स्टार्मर आई डोंट फाइंड कि ऐसा कोई एवेन्यू खुल रहा है. एंड जो हमारे स्टेटमेंट्स चल रहे हैं दोनों तरफ से, दे आर नॉट वेरी एंकरेजिंग.
But
सो
we did sign FTA now, right,
यस
with
यस यस
UK?
yes, but if you see the uh, what do you call domestic scene in UK, it's not very encouraging.
Yes,
And Keir Starmer has been accused of a number of things, and let us see if he can come clean out of it or not. So a
yes,
lot of things to be learned from Europe, and I hope we are learning. I think we are learning. We don't show what we have learned. We just act on what we have learned. That is the beauty of the Indian system. कि हम
yes, sir.
कथनी और करनी जो होती है हमारी, उसमें थोड़ा सा
Farak,
हम अंतर रख के
Antar.
चलते हैं.
Yes, sir.
जी.
Before I move on to the next question, the small question briefly. Now, what was happening in France just 2 days, 3 days before? Was it also the part of what we saw in Nepal, Bangladesh,
हाँ,
and
the great game.
Sri Lanka?
Yes, the great game. Whosoever goes against my interests will go out. It happened in Japan
Because,
also.
yes, the Prime Minister resigned. Yes. Okay, sir. Moving back to next question. How would you describe the current economic and political condition of the EU, particularly Germany, France, and UK?
I don't see anything very positive happening in that part of the world. What I find is a steady decline in all these activities. India, of course, is racing ahead of all these countries. Germany had a place when it comes to world economies. Again, all these countries that you have named are part of the G7. But how long will they be able to sit and claim that G7 position is? Time will tell. The way these economies are performing is not very encouraging. I don't find much hope in there. With President Trump coming and President Trump issuing warning that you should levy sanctions on Russia, tariffs should be there to the tune of 50 to 100%. And it's mind-boggling the way he is trying to dictate terms to the EU. So
Yes.
EU cannot afford to levy those sanctions because EU की सारी मशीनरी, सारा इक्विपमेंट जो है वो तो वहां से आता है, चाइना से आता है. अब चाइना के खिलाफ अगर आप ये लगा देंगे तो यूरोप सस्टेन कैसे करेगा? सो प्रेसिडेंट ट्रम्प ही वांट्स कि यूरोपियन यूनियन बोले कि इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर अस, एंड फिर प्रेसिडेंट ट्रम्प बोलेंगे भाई देखो मैंने तो चाइना के खिलाफ ये एक्शन लेने की कोशिश की थी, लेकिन इन लोगों ने मेरी बात मानी नहीं है. So as you said, it is a vassal state of the US. It's walking a very tight rope. It has to please its own citizens. It has to keep POTUS in good books. A very tough ask for the European Union, as I see in the days to come. So let us see how they move ahead and what does the next meeting of their parliament decides. It's a tough ask for them at the very moment. This is what I see of the European Union, because यूरोपियन यूनियन जो है रशिया से ऑयल के मामले में फिर मात खा रहा था, एंड President Trump was trying to give a covering fire to European Union, blaming India on it. But then, of course, India being India, we put the chips on the table and we declared that who imports more oil and gas from Russia. So things were all there on the table. So it's a tough time for the European Union. That is what I foresee. I don't foresee a very bright future for Europe for the next decade or so. If some
Okay.
drastic changes occur, बात अलग है. So जो लोग भी बाहर बैठे हैं, मैं उनको बोलूंगा it's good time to come back and establish
हम्म
yourself here in this country.
उससे बात जुड़ी है तो पूछ ही लेता हूँ अभी. हाउ लॉन्ग डू वी हैव like Indians who are staying in Europe specifically, how long do we have before we have to come pack our bags and come to India?
The way things are moving, I think you should start shifting your capital into India. The first step. And the second step is start packing and start disposing of the unwanted stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
And because if the thing go worse, then nobody will be buying your stuff. So one should keep planning. I don't foresee a very bright future for Europe at present. India will hold a future for you. Of course, that struggle will never end because establishing yourself in India will be a tough ask. It will not be a cakewalk because Indians by nature are very competitive. And
Definitely.
people who have been staying in the Western world, they are used to certain rules, certain norms, which may not be conforming to the standards which are being followed in India. People generally find it pretty challenging. So,
Yes, sir.
challenging times for those people who come back also. That is
Okay, sir.
my this thing. Sorry, I'm sounding very pessimistic, but then these are mere facts. Of course, India as such holds a very bright future. एंड इफ इन केस आपका जो गेयर जो है अगर ठीक से मेश हो जाता है सो देन यू कैन ऑल्सो मूव विद द सेम पेस सो दैट इज टू सी एज टू वॉट यू ब्रिंग टू द टेबल वेयर यू वर्क एंड हाउ डू यू प्रोग्रेस सो बट देन आई फील another 5 to 10 years is the time when one should plan of
Return
something.
back. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Coming up to the next question, sir. What major shifts have immigration brought to these countries, socially and demographically?
Oh, I don't find anything positive in the immigration part of it because the society which was existing earlier, it has taken a big beating. Europe is not the same after these immigration. And no, progress, it is all regression. There is no progress which I find there because you are now being pushed into Stone Age. You,
Exactly.
yes. So be prepared. And this is what you will see. Because होता क्या है कि if you try to enforce certain laws which are archaic, which are non-progressive, you can't question them. So such a society can never progress. See, why does the Indian society progress? Because we give a chance to every Indian. हिंदी में बोलूंगा हमारा सनातन जो है इट कैरीज द ब्यूटी ऑफ वाद विवाद
Yes.
शास्त्रार्थ करते हैं वी आर्ग्यू ऑन आर बुक्स विच आर सपोज टू बी सेक्रेड Tell me one religion which has got the power, the strength to say that you can
Mhm.
debate on my book.
No one, sir.
And we have a word to it. And it has been given,
सवाल ही नहीं है, sir.
we have been given the right by our forefathers to discuss
Yes.
these books threadbare. We call it
Yes.
Shastrarth. Tell me one religion which can offer this. Sorry, none
N-
of them.
No, sir.
So,
Definitely not.
if you say that Indians are not progressive, sorry, friend, we are the most progressive society in the world. For that, you have to understand what India is. So,
Exactly.
it is very easy to point fingers at Indians, but now
Yeah.
we know that if you point one finger at an Indian, there are three fingers which are pointing back at you also.
Yes, sir. On that note, I'll just say that's the reason why the name of my channel is Purva Paksha, because Purva Paksha was a method in our traditions where two people used to sit like gentlemen, discuss, and the one who used to accept it honestly, not like start fighting and then
Hmm.
destroy the democracies now willingly, unwillingly.
And interestingly,
Sir,
Gaurav, हम लोग जब
yes,
शास्त्रार्थ करते थे, so two gentlemen used to sit and discuss, and the judge could be a lady also.
that is the logo of my channel actually, sir. Sir, coming up to the next point, why are we seeing industrial slowdown and companies moving out of the EU?
Why? Because आपकी जो workforce है, that is not ready to work. People don't want to work. People want just rights. And that is the reason why nobody wants to invest there. Your rules and laws are slowly becoming tough to manage. India, on the other hand, is opening its gates. We have a mission by the name of ease of doing business. So we are working in a mission mode as to how things can be made easier. Let me
Yes,
give you
sir.
an example. Earlier, a government servant had to go to the bank to present himself to show that he is alive. Today, you don't have to go to the bank to show that you're alive because you're a pension holder and you can conk off at any point of time. So why should you be paid a pension when you're not alive? So a person has to perforce tell that he's alive, and a life certificate was to be submitted. Now what happens is you can open your laptop or you can use your mobile also. And with the help of a mobile, with the help of an application, it takes the thumb impression, it takes your facial recognition, and it certifies that you are alive and finish. The
Work is done.
certificate is submitted.
Yes.
So this is how India works. If in case you go to a shopkeeper, a a poor shopkeeper sitting on the roadside, he still has a QR code displayed. You don't have to transact in cash. You just pull out your mobile, scan the QR code, money goes into his bank, and the transaction is made. I was surprised, and I've tweeted that also. In the streets of Delhi, I found a beggar. This beggar had a plate, a QR code hanging on its neck, and people used to scan the QR code and give him ads. भीख उसको देते थे QR code scan करके. That is the way India has progressed. So a child is born, he is born with a mouse in his hand.
Yes.
So that is the power of an Indian. Don't
Because
underestimate us.
we still have in Germany, there are certain places where we can't do the digital transaction. We have to bring the cash.
Yeah.
It's called Bargeld in German,
Hmm.
but we have to bring the cash and then do the transaction. But
Hmm.
then when I visited India last time, and it was shocking for me the way India has gone digital, like it's digital revolution, we can say, that Modi ji brought in. It's shocking. Like everything is done digitally. You don't need any cash or you don't stuck at the cash or something. Everything is done fast with digital scan and done. It's done. I'm like, oh, okay. Even I was at a museum in Uttar Pradesh. I visited in 2022. The problem was I was asking him to take the money in cash, and he said like, no, sir, we don't take money in cash anymore. It's we have to do digitally. And he said
Digitally.
like, I don't have that app. And then he said like, no, sir, you have to do it digitally because India has become a digital country, so we do not do these things with cash anymore. I was like, ah, okay. Then I had to soon move from Germany to India. That's the thing. Now coming back to the next question, sir, and it's very important because it this thing has played a very keen role in Europe. How has the Russia-Ukraine war reshaped the EU's economy and foreign policy?
Europe is a very big divided continent now. Some people want to have boots on ground. Some people want to help Ukraine, and everything is happening under the pressure of US. Some people have sent their air defense system like Germany to Ukraine. Some people want to remain out of the war, and some people are against it. So this war has divided the European Union and it has fragmentized the entire place. In the European Union, if part of NATO, people have gone and purchased weapon system missiles from India. Imagine a NATO country buying weapon systems from India or a non-aligned nation. Never ever had this happened. So India, which was earlier importing such things from US or any NATO country, we are now exporting it to them. So the tables have turned. And of course, for that, we don't blame the Ukraine-Russia war as such, but in a way, it has opened our eyes because India has not sided by any country in this war. When
Yes.
Modi ji meets Putin, he embraces him. If he meets Zelensky, he embraces him. And he is one man who is acknowledged that he can bring peace to this region. And President Trump, incidentally, yesterday in his tweet has made a mention that he
Yes.
complimented Prime Minister Modi for bringing this war to an end. So, if you see that this conflict has shaped the way India approaches it, when it comes to the European Union, you will be surprised that all those countries which are supposed to be sanctioned, they are providing oil and gas to European Unions. I think I have that chart with me. I had
Hmm.
tweeted that image as to how gas flows from Iran, Kazakhstan, and those areas into European Union, and so does oil.
Okay.
So, yeah, and it shows as to what quantum of oil and gas flows from those countries which are supposedly sanctioned or which are not supposed to trade, and European Union is drawing all these things from those countries. So trade is continuing, war is also continuing, and trade and war are not mixed, unlike India and Pakistan, where Pakistan did a mistake of combining both of them.
Hmm.
And of course, their situation is totally different from what Europe Union is facing with Ukraine and Russia.
Yes.
So, yes, please.
Yeah. Uh, there are rising reports. I mean, I won't say rising reports, but what we saw in US, what's happening with the Indians. What do you think? Future, will that be the case also for Indians in Europe?
Sorry, I
Like
couldn't get the question.
beheading. The question is,
Oh,
sir,
okay, beheading.
yeah, beheading or racism or torturing Indians or no the slurs that white people generally uses for non-white. Could that also increase in Europe?
See, what happened is in the US, Trump came on a mandate of Make America Great Again, MAGA. And while exercising MAGA, he went a step ahead where he started pointing fingers at the people who had shifted to the US. Unfortunately or fortunately, every American in that land cannot claim that he's a pure American, except for those people whom they call as primitive, the Red Indians.
Natives.
Everybody else is a migrant. They have
Yes.
migrated there, and USA has becoming a melting pot of cultures. So if you say that I'm a true American, sorry, you are a migrant, and then later on you adopted the citizenship of America. That is a fact. But certain seeds of hatred were sown when the campaign of this election was underway. And this thing, it is working on the mentality of a common American. When it comes to Europe, the things are slightly different. Because here, earlier, you had organizations like the KKK, Ku Klux Klan, the Dot Busters, who used to go and attack the Indian women. They were existing, but now what has happened is with the advent of the immigrants, the focus has shifted to that side. Now these immigrants, they are trying to nudge every person in the society, and the Indians are not away from that. So everybody is facing the heat, and somehow I feel that people will start to reclaim the lost land, the lost identity of Europe. So that will be a very sad situation when such a thing starts. Uh, your question was that do we expect such a thing in Europe? In Europe, those things were existing. I know that you are in that part of the world where this thing was not very prominent. But yes, it does exist in Europe, and racial comments, they are more pronounced in the US. If you should see the makeup of the society, the Americans are slightly open that way. The British would be slightly sophisticated. So you won't expect a racial slur from a Brit. very soon. But from an American, he can say anything to you. So, how a society behaves in general will also come into play when you come here. Second part is your immigrants. Now, the immigrants, for them, if you are not a believer of my faith, you have got no right to live. So you become the other immediately. And the concept of other is, of course, there in Christianity also. So every Abrahamic religion has the concept of other. It
Exactly,
is
sir.
only people like you and me who say that the entire world is a family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It comes from a religious scripture.
Yes,
So
sir.
our civilization, our culture, our religion teaches us as to how we should be staying as one family. We don't have the concept of other. We believe
Yes,
in the
yes, sir.
concept of Advait also, that
Mm-hmm.
where the deity and the devotee, there is no difference in that. They are but one. When we say Namaste, we bow before the divinity which exists in you, and the divinity in me bows before that divinity. That is our culture.
Yes, sir.
We don't count anybody as the other. Everybody is part of my family.
Family.
So, to understand India, it is a tough ask. Where do we come from? There were
Okay,
questions
sir.
which were thrown at me that, Mr. Chaube, you help people, what do you get out of it? Because in other cultures, everything is transactional. If I'm sitting with Gaurav and discussing something, I don't expect Gaurav to come and say कि sir आपने बहुत अच्छा काम किया, ये पकड़िए 2 crore रुपए for coming on my podcast.
Okay, sir.
है ना? तो we do things out of our own will and from our heart.
Yes, sir. No,
And
I would actually.
hmm.
Yes, sir.
ना ना बोलो please.
No, I actually wanted to give this. मुझे ये बताना भी था कि I just wrote sir a day before, and it was such a nice gesture from sir that sir wrote me back. Sir also gave me the number, and it was actually the sir who called me first because I was a bit shy. Should I call directly or should I write or not? But that's what I wanted to say. That's what these teachings are. This is what when if we our upbringing or the teachings that we have got from childhood, बचपन से जो मिला है हमें, ये शिक्षण ही है जिसके वजह से हम इंडियन आज भी इतने सालों से भी our civilization is still going on and it will still go. There is no end to the Sanatan. That there can't be end to Sanatan. Thank you, sir. Coming back to the next question, sir. Basically, this will be the section for EU-India relationship. That is very important for us. Where do you see the FTA negotiations between EU and India stand today?
EU and India, what I have noticed is that our government policy is to engage one-on-one. So we generally don't go into a multinational setup and engage with them. We go from case to case. This is my understanding of things, and I think that is a very good thing, because if in case you go en masse with a group, you will have those people whom you don't want to engage with, and you will have some people whom you wish to engage with an open heart. Every country cannot have the same relations with us, and we have to differentiate who is our good friend, just a friend, or a friend. So my personal belief is that India will always go from case to case basis. We will always engage one to one, and I don't think that we will be going ahead with the European Union as such. This is my understanding of things. I may be wrong at any place, but given a chance, I would love to engage with a country and then move ahead to country B. That is my
Okay,
understanding of things. Yes, please.
okay. Uh, why are Germany and France, specifically, keen to finalize trade deal with India? Because recently we saw that German foreign minister, I guess, was in
Yes.
India. France has been saying lot many times. Even the lady from Italy, Meloni, she has been rushing for this FTA.
Yes,
Why? What is the reason for that, sir?
because they find that to trade with India is always a win-win situation for them. Uh, we are a society which is ready to give. Plus, we are a very big market.
Yes.
Everybody wants a big market so that they can produce and you can sell your goods. And today, the world number one thing is economy. So you see your economic interests first, your security interests are also then taken care of. And with European Union, I don't think security interests really matter. It's the economic interests that really affect us. And when it comes to economic matters, if in case Europe is manufacturing something, Europe will definitely try to look for market. And India is a very lucrative market for Europe. So everybody tries to woo Indians and they would like to trade with us. This is one basic thing that you will always find. So we are very good consumers. We provide excellent services and we can thus be a very good market for any manufacturing country. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Very important question. This actually not only for Europeans, also for from the point of view of India-European relationship and future aspects. Do you see India as a balancing power for EU future challenges? Whatever challenges at the moment EU is facing or might face in the future, do you see that India will play a keen role in stabilizing this and then making EU also on the right track, as might India do in the case for Russia and Ukraine? But what do you see this in terms of EU specifically?
So India has a stated policy that it will not intervene in any country. The internal
Mm-hmm,
matters as such, we don't intervene. And if in
mm-hmm,
case we are called upon to mediate, we can do it. And of course, being a country which is known for not taking any prejudices into consideration while considering the case, and India takes every case on its merit. That is the beauty of our foreign policy. So countries have the faith to confide in India whenever such a situation arises. What I find is that we will play a very important role in reshaping the future of the European Union. This is what I foresee because countries have that faith and they see our leadership as a very progressive leadership who can take the world in their stride and hold their hand and move ahead. That is what the world look towards India. So I do foresee that if in case India is called upon to help rebuild the situation in Europe, India will be all the more keen to take that role.
okay, sir. Uh, this is one important point, I think. How might Europe view India's growing role in the Indo Pacific?
In the Indo-Pacific.
Yes.
Now, Europe is generally a consumer of Chinese goods. And the Chinese goods, as we know, it passes through the Malacca Strait. Indo-Pacific, everybody wants to rule because the Quad wants to keep a check on the movement of the Chinese and its growing role in the Red China Sea. So, uh, Quad acts as a balancing power when it comes to geopolitics of that region. How does European Union feel? Now, what happens is, again, I'll have to put India at the center stage. Whenever there is a ship in distress near the Horn of Africa, Indians have taken the lead and rescued that ship.
Yes, sir.
There have been cases where a Chinese ship was stranded and the
Yeah.
Indians came to the rescue.
Mm-hmm.
So India is seen as a protective force when it comes to the warm waters of the Indian Ocean. That is the might that the Indian Navy carries. So the European Union has a faith in the maritime forces which India commands. And our relations with the European Union do not dictate our relations with the other countries of the Quad. That is the beauty. Now, the other countries of the Quad, US as it is part, it's a good strategic ally of all these countries. India has its own place. Australia and Japan. Japan, of course, has been a big manufacturing hub, and European Union has been a big importer for Japanese goods.
Mm-hmm.
Australia, you can say it's more attuned to the culture of the Europeans. So I don't foresee Quad as a force which the European Union won't like. And till such time the Quad does not obstruct the traffic of the Chinese, which is carrying
Mm-hmm.
Chinese goods to the European Union, I don't think that they would feel threatened about any growth of the Quad, because
Okay.
every Quad country has got its own interests in European Union.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't foresee any problems of European Union emanating because of Quad or the China oblique Quad relationship in the Indo-Pacific.
Okay, sir. And this is second last question. I'll sum up now because it's getting too late for you as well, sir. Uh, that was like, uh, how is India relevant to EU energy and sustainable resource strategies? Specifically, I will point this why, because living here now almost 12, 13 years, and soon we are going to have winters. And if there is no sufficient oil, I don't know what's going to happen this time.
Yes.
I hope I don't get freezed.
Mm.
But what can this be, and what role can India play, and why is India relevant in this? And to the same questions, just additional one small point to it is that technology. Like Europeans are good at making technologies at the latest, like 40, 30, 50 years, we can say. So how they can help India with the like आदान प्रदान, like हम उनको एनर्जी में सब मदद कर सकते हैं, वो हमको टेक्नोलॉजी में. So how do you see that, sir?
एनर्जी में देखिए, रशियन ऑयल इंडिया इंपोर्ट करता है, उसको रिफाइन करता है और उसको यूरोपियन यूनियन को भेजता है. दैट्स अ
Yes, sir.
फैक्ट. एंड उससे ट्रम्प साहब को बहुत परेशानी होती है, बट जस्ट टू बैड. We won't stop because of the whims and fancies of one person. So when it comes to energy and import of energy from India, I don't think European Union should feel threatened. तो
Mhm,
आपकी विंटर्स जो हैं, ईश्वर ने चाहा तो अच्छी जाएंगी, गर्म जाएंगी, आपके
mhm.
हीटर्स जो हैं चलेंगे, कमरे आपके हीटेड रहेंगे. देयर इज नो इशू रिगार्डिंग दैट. द सेकंड पार्ट ऑफ योर क्वेश्चन वाज, आई एम मिसिंग इट आउट. एक बार हिंट देंगे.
The technology transfer.
टेक्नोलॉजी मैं आपको ध्यान दिलाता हूँ. आई थिंक इट वाज यस्टरडे.
Mhm,
We were speaking of a 2 nanometer chip,
mhm.
and the company which was manufacturing the 2 nanometer chip was a British company
Okay.
and working in India. So on the social media, people were arguing that ye make in India kaise hoga, because it is a British company which is
British
working
company.
here and manufacturing the chip. And somebody replied that if in case they are having this factory here, that means they are training Indian manpower to work in that factory. And one day you'll have a good skilled set of people working for India also.
Yes.
So let the factory work here, let people understand. I think somebody made a mention that 400 people will be employed in that factory. So when you count the number of skilled people, you'll have 400 skilled people to work for you later also. So it becomes a long-term perspective plan when it comes to skilling India and then technology coming to India. And every country with whom we are trying to import things, we have a arrangement of technology transfer also
Transfer.
along with that. So India is a big service hub. Uh, Europe becomes a good technological hub, and both energies, when they synergize, they produce marvelous things. As I had made a mention of this 2 nanometer chip being manufactured in India.
ओके सर. इस पे मैं एक ही स्मॉल बात बताऊंगा, क्योंकि आई कम फ्रॉम दैट फील्ड. मेरा जो फील्ड है वो इलेक्ट्रिकल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स का ही है, और जहाँ मैंने मास्टर्स किया in that university, they had this silicon wafers that is very important for making chips.
Hmm.
तो मैंने वो जानबूझ के लिया नहीं. आई टुक द ट्रेडिशनल कंट्रोल सिस्टम व्हिच आई हैड ऑलरेडी डन एक्चुअली. पर मैंने वो लिया क्योंकि जब मैं गया था, और जिसके अंडर से मैं गया था, जो जो मैंने बोला 2004 टू 2012 का टाइम, तो मुझे लगा कि इंडिया में कभी सेमीकंडक्टर वगैरह तो सवाल ही नहीं बनता, बिकॉज I used to think about that in 2008, and it's been
25
2024
now.
now. We have
Mm.
you know. So मेरे को लगा कि तो ये तो कुछ पॉइंटलेस है इसमें जाने आई वोंट एनीवेज गो बैक टू इंडिया बिकॉज देयर इज नो होप एट द मोमेंट और ये जब तक रहेगा तो कुछ होने वाला है नहीं सो आई डिडंट डू दैट कोर्स सिलिकॉन वेपर्स एंड मेकिंग चीप एंड स्टफ and now when India suddenly got a boost and they will definitely in upcoming I think 5 6 years India will also lead somewhere in the making chips process I think so तो अभी मुझे लग रहा है अरे मेरे वो कर लेता तो
अच्छा
I
रहता।
had a chance exactly because I thought like no ways इंडिया अभी इतने साल हो गए कुछ कर नहीं रहे हम तब से चिल्ला रहे थे लेकिन मोदी है तो मुमकिन है दैट इज द थिंग Yes, sir. I will stop for today now because it's been 2 hours and I was listening to sir, and the adrenaline that was running through my body is getting pumped. Like I can ask questions like more 2 3 4 hours is not an issue for me, but there are limitations. So again, it's a pleasure to be with sir. You can I am going to put that things. You can follow sir on LinkedIn and Twitter as well. No issues at all. Sir is very friendly. Sir, like I think this is the thing of Indian Army that whenever you approach the Indian Army, you will definitely get a very good answer, very good reply, and they will definitely clear a lot of your doubts. You have to be assured for that. That's what I'll say. And once again, sir, thank you very much for coming to my show. And definitely, we are going to try and bring sir many more times as per sir time convenience. So, uh, thank you, and I wish you a very pleasure and good night, sir. And thank you for joining
Thank you,
the
Gaurav.
Purva Paksha channel.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
Gaurav. God bless and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind, sir.